All right, adding and subtracting fractions. So in order to add and subtract fractions, you must have the same, or a common is another word for that, denominator. You must have the same denominator. So if I had, for example, 2/3 plus 5/3, we'll see I can add these. I can add them because we have the same denominator. So what would the answer be? You have to add the numerators, the 2 plus the 5, that's a 7. And then the denominator, in this case, always stays the same. Okay? How about if you're subtracting? 9/4 minus 3/4. Well, again, you can subtract these because they have the same denominator. So the denominator stays the same. The only numbers that are going to change is the numerator. So you're going to go 9 minus 3 is 6. And because 6 can be reduced, 6/4 can be reduced, you're going to do that. So 6/4 reduces to 3/2. Always put your fractions in simplest form at the end of a question. All right, now I'm going to have to talk about rewriting fractions. Now, rewriting fractions, what are you talking about, Mr. Donahue? Here's what I'm talking about. So I'm going to draw a pie. So actually 3 pies. Hopefully you like pies. All right, 1, 2, 3. And these pies are all the same size, exactly the same size. And that one's blue. I don't know why I did that, but it's all good. You're going to divide this first pie into 4. So divide it into 4. All right, they're maybe not exactly the same size, but whatever. This one's going to be divided into 2. This one's going to be divided into 8. Okay, so you're going to divide it once, another time. Then you're going to divide it here. And then you're going to divide it here. Okay, why am I doing this? Okay, well, the reason I'm doing this is to illustrate how you can rewrite fractions. All right, so this one, you're going to shade in the bottom half down here. You're going to shade in the bottom half here. You're going to shade in the bottom half for all 3 of these. Shade the bottom half, everyone. Okay, is it shaded? Good. So this pi here represents 2/4. Okay. This one represents 1/2. This one represents, take a guess, 4/8. Well, guess what? They're all the same size pi, and the same quantity is shaded. So these fractions are all equivalent. However, we have different numbers of slices in all of them. But this illustrates the point of how you can rewrite fractions to have a different denominator and different numerator. How do you do that? Okay, so when you don't always draw a pie, you can just multiply both top and bottom, or divide top and bottom by the same number, and you will get an equivalent fraction. All right, so 2/4 is the same as 1/2. It's equal to 1/2. 1/2 is equal to 4/8. These are all equal quantities. So in order to get from 2/4 to 1/2, I divided both top and bottom by 2. In order to get from 1/2 to 4/8, I multiplied both top and bottom by 4. You have to multiply the top and the bottom by the same number, or divide both top and bottom by the same number to keep the fraction equivalent, or else it's not going to work. You're going to get it wrong. Okay, so why am I talking about rewriting fractions? Well, because sometimes you have to add and subtract fractions with different denominators. And that's what we're going to do right now. So let's say we have 1/3 plus 1/6. These fractions have different denominators. How on earth do we add them? Well, we're going to have to give one of them the same denominator as the other one. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 1/3 and I'm going to rewrite it as a fraction with a denominator of 6. And you'll see why I chose the 1/3 in just a second. So how am I going to do that? Well, what multiplied by 3 equals 6? That's 2. So I'm going to take this, multiply this by 2, multiply the top by 2. Remember, the same number on top and bottom. That changes it to 2 over 6, right? 1/3 is the same as 2 over 6 plus 1 over 6. Now we can add them because they have the same denominator. Yay. Okay. Now the denominator stays the same. 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 over 6 equals 1/2. And we're done. Remember, we always have to reduce at the end. Let me do another one in blue. How about 2/3 plus 3/4? Again, we have two fractions that have a different denominator. We have to change them both to have the same denominator. That means we're going to have to rewrite them like we did up here with the pies. So let's do that. What you can do, here's the trick. If you don't know what to change, which fraction to change, you can always just change both of them. And that's what we're going to have to do in this case. But I'm going to take this 3 and 2, multiply them both by 4. And then I'm going to take the 3 and the 4 and multiply them both by 3. Watch what this does, okay? So I'm going to multiply the 3 and the 2 by 4, okay, by the denominator of this one. And then I'm going to multiply the 3 and the 4 here by the denominator of this one, okay? Watch what this does, okay? 2 times 4 is 8. 3 times 4 is 12. Well, you can see we're gonna have the same denominator, right? And then plus, see, 8/12 is the same as 2/3. 3 times 3 is 9. 4 times 3 is 12 again. Okay, good. Now we have the same denominator. But you see what that did? You can take the denominator of the other fraction, multiply your fraction by multiply the numerator and denominator by that denominator over here. You just have to look at this and stare at it for a while, and eventually you'll get it, I promise. All right, so 8 plus 9 is 17. And then you have the 12 staying on bottom. And this fraction cannot be reduced, so it is the answer. Okay, one more. We're going to have 5/8 minus 1 2/3. So this is a mixed number now. We're going to have to change this to an improper fraction. Let's do that. So I'm going to rewrite this. I'm going to keep the 5/8 the same. I'm just going to mess with this one now. So what do? We multiply the 3 times the 1, then we add the 2. And that's a 3 plus 2 is 5 over 3. So 5/8 minus 5 over 3. Now, we're getting a little closer, but we still don't have two fractions with the same denominator, so we can't actually subtract these. Let's get the same denominator. Well, again, we have a situation where we don't know exactly what to multiply what by what. So we're going to take the 3 here and multiply both top and bottom of the other fraction by that 3. And then we're going to take the 8 here, right? And multiply both top and bottom of this, bottom of that by 8. Okay? Maybe that helps if I color code it. Now, what do we have? We've got 5 times 3 is 15 over 8 times 3 is 24 minus 5 times 8 is 40 over 3 times 8 is 24. Yay, now we have the same denominator on both fractions. Now all we have to do is do 15 minus 40, different signs, subtract the smaller one, take the sign of the larger. So that would be negative 25 over that 24, and we cannot reduce it. So this is our answer, and we are done.